Welcome back. In this video, we're going to look at the Find and Replace feature in Word 2013. In previous versions of Word, the Find and Replace feature was accessed in a dialog box. In recent versions of Word, the navigation sidebar has been added, which allows us to do a basic search of the document. So I come over here and type HTML. It will tell me that there are 21 results for HTML in my document. If I'm just doing a simple search, as we touched on in a previous lesson, the navigation toolbar is sufficient. However, if I want to do replacement or advanced find, the old dialog box is still where I want to go. To access the Find and Replace dialog box, I have several options. I can come up here to Find and select Advanced Find from the menu. The old Control F keyboard shortcut now brings up the navigation toolbar instead of the Find dialog box. However, the Control H keyboard shortcut still brings up the Replace tab of the Find and Replace dialog box. I can also get the Replace tab selected in the Find dialog box by going to the Replace button in the editing group of the Home tab. So I want to take HTML here and I want to replace it with HTML, but I want this HTML to be bolded. And yes, I can do that. So if I click more here, we get many more options. Do I want to search up, down, or both directions? By default, it will only search where my cursor is, down. If it reaches the bottom of the document, it will ask me if I want to jump back up to the top. I can match case, so I only match it exactly as it's typed. By default, HTML uppercase and HTML lowercase would both create a hit. Use wildcards, so I could say only show me words that start with the letter C, for example. Sounds like and find all word forms in English, so we can find like words or forms of word, for example, be, being, been. We can match a prefix or a suffix. We can also ignore white space characters and punctuation characters. Rarely used options, but they're there. Now on Replace, we have Format and Special. So I can actually find formatted text and replace it with. So I'm going to click down here. I'm going to go to Format. I'm going to go to Font. And I'm going to click Bold here and say OK. So you notice now we're going to find HTML and we're going to replace with HTML, Format, Font, Bold. I'm going to click Replace All. And notice above my Find and Replace dialog here, we've made 21 replacements. Do you want to search from the beginning? Since I searched downward, yes. Alright, we're finished and we made 21 replacements. You will notice up here every time we have HTML now in our document, it has been bolded, and if it was lowercase, it's been changed to uppercase, as we see in our little coding sample here where we have some tags. So that is Find and Replace, the Replace feature, doing not replacing a word per se, but actually applying formatting to a word that's used repeatedly in the document. So if I wanted to undo that, come up here, Find, Format, Bold, OK. Come down here, Format, Font, Regular. So not bold, not italics. So now if I replace all, I made 21 replacements, and as you see, HTML is now no longer bolded. So that's use of find or use of replace you might not necessarily or normally think of. That is something you can do. Now I can, if I have a list of commas in my document, if I have a list of data that has a bunch of commas in it, I could actually find every comma in my document and replace it with a paragraph mark. Get rid of all my commas. If I have a long list of comma data, get rid of all those commas, make them paragraphs, which would take my long list of data with commas separated by commas and put it one item per line. Let me show you an example. So we say apple, banana, pear, pineapple, grape, orange. Alright, so we have apple. Let's put spaces in here. So we have apple, pear, pineapple, grape, orange, and we'll say kiwi. Let me make this larger. We'll make this 28. Okay. I'm going to find, like I said, all of my commas, and I'm going to replace them with paragraph marks. Now I need to click one thing first. Notice I have a format on both my find and my replace. I need to get rid of that. I could go back in both and click here and undo it, but I can also click this no formatting button, which will get rid of that format that I have selected. So replace all my commas with paragraph marks. Replace all. You will see we made 6 replacements, and as I close the box out, there's my list. There is my list in a list versus being in comma form. Here's my list with each one being its own paragraph or one item per line. Let me switch back over here to my other document, reopen this, back up. This is very useful if I have misspelled a word or need to change someone's name. Let's say I have a whole document with Sharon in it, or excuse me, Shannon, and Shannon happens to spell her name S-H-A-N-O-N instead of 2 N's, and I have a 35-page document with her name in it 127 times. Very powerful to have replaced there. Type it in once, click replace all, everything's changed at the same time. On the certification exam, it would not be unreasonable for you to be asked to replace text or format text using the replace dialog box. I will put up in supplementary materials for this video some practice on using replace in the ways I've shown you beyond what you would think of in just normal usage. Practice this. Microsoft loves to test on advanced functions of commonly used features. Not many people probably know that you can boldface a certain word every time it appears in the document using the replace feature. Sounds like something good to test on, and Microsoft has a history of testing on, like I said, obscure features or obscure parts of commonly used features. So practice on this using the supplementary materials I will provide for you. That's all for this video. In the next video, we're going to look at Backstage.